Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of We the Doctors. My name is Dr. Jules, and you know what we do on the show? We keep you enlightened. Of course, when I say enlightened, I'm talking about health literacy. That's what we do best on the show. And of course, I don't do this alone. I have my colleagues with me, Dr. Valeria.
Hello, you're welcome.
Dr. Yvonne.
Hi, you're welcome.
And Dr. Okay.
Welcome to today's show.
And they're looking lovely.
Yeah.
I love Dr.
Like you.
I love Dr.
Like
Yvonne's
Thank
skirt.
you.
Oh my
The
goodness.
truth is,
But the camera can't go down though. Can it go under?
Sometimes I wish they
Myself,
can,
why you
after
Give me
the
that look.
show,
I mean, so
they
that you
can
can show
just...
me what you're
myself
wearing.
and Dr. Valeria are trying to get used to this I love your clothing because really we don't send, we just wear the thing and show up.
You should send, because even we see the comments on Twitter and all.
I
People
guess
are always
that-
praising what you're wearing.
But I love your earrings, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right, now to the topic.
Now to the topic. Today we are talking about nutrition. It is very important because if you have good nutrition, it prevents you from falling ill and all that. And of course, you have the right amount of energy. But I'll start off by talking about the definition. It's the process of taking in food which the body uses for growth, metabolism, and repair.
Yeah.
So it's important that we know them. We'll be talking about the 6 categories of foods, and so that you know the advantages. And of course, we know some of these foods, you cannot just see them right off the bat. You have to be enlightened to know what type of food they are. And others, you can actually see the contents. When you get them in the store, you see the labels at the back. So you have to get used to reading those labels because they are very, very important. But of course, we know how we do it. We always talk about the myths first because we want to correct misconceptions first before we now give you a new foundation of knowledge, okay, when it comes to health. So let's talk about a couple of them. I'll be mentioning them and let's just be taking them as we go along. Now, people have this concept that sugar causes diabetes.
And that is not true.
It's not true.
Simply, it's not true. The reasons are obvious. One, if you don't already have diabetes, sugar will not give you diabetes.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's one. And sugar is not bad for you if you don't already have diabetes.
Right.
Now, let me explain what I mean by this. People get diabetes initially. The type 1 is a genetic thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's handed over from parents to offsprings.
Right.
Now, sometimes in adulthood, people also develop diabetes,
Yes.
the type that we call type 2 in the hospital.
Yes.
It is not sugar that causes that because when you tell them, they say, but I don't take sugar. Really, that is not what causes it. If you have a lifestyle
And
that
a
is not
predisposition
active,
to
yes.
it.
If you have a lifestyle that is not active, if your diet is not proper and you don't
Exactly.
exercise and you are overweight,
Yes.
Right.
the chances are that you develop this type 2 diabetes.
Exactly.
And it is not sugar that causes
Not
it.
sugar.
Exactly.
However, before you say, Dr.
Ah,
K says,
I was
I-
just gonna go there.
I know Dr. Valeria
Yeah,
was holding
yeah.
his breath like
before
that.
you say,
Don't-
before
no,
you
no.
say, before you say, Dr. K says it's time to begin munching sugar, throwing the cubes
Hey.
into your mouth.
Exactly.
liquid.
No, he didn't-
No,
he's
not
that's
saying
not what
that.
I
You
mean.
will find people who have been living healthy,
Yeah.
Right.
typically
They don't
cutting down
start
on sugar.
throwing sugar.
All of a sudden, because of what you just
Yeah.
said now,
Yeah.
we'll be visiting ice cream sports
What,
right now and
what
stuff.
Dr. Okay
So I think
said,
the
yeah.
summary of everything is this. For you to have diabetes is not necessarily directly proportional to your intake of sugar.
Exactly.
All right?
But
There's
it can
usually,
put you at
yes,
risk.
it will put you at risk.
Yes.
So there's always the place of family history.
Right.
All right, in developing diabetes. All right, and then lifestyle and all of that basically. So if you have a family history of diabetes, you are at risk of having diabetes. So even
you
you start
shouldn't
taking
go
sugar.
playing around.
So you realize that some people, you just notice that some people that are your friends or you grew up with, they take sugar more than anything and never develop diabetes because they
Right.
don't have a family history of it.
Right.
All right, so
And
their
probably
body
have an active
exactly
lifestyle.
an active lifestyle, and it's easy for them to break down the sugar. Basically,
Exactly.
insulin is functional and all of that. Now, if you are on the other hand, you don't take so much of sugar, but you forget that you eat rice, you eat eba.
Exactly.
These things that contain
Yes.
some form of sugar in them indirectly. All right, and then you have the risk of diabetes. You can
Have
possibly
No, but
develop
I think I
diabetes.
want to point out here, the sugar in this matter, it's not that it's the sugar itself, it's the wrong dieting with the sugar. I explain what I mean. Your diet is a total package. It's not
Exactly.
just, this is what I ate now. So in simple, in our environment, you find people that, what we call soaking gari. I used to say, it is not the 2 or 3 cubes in the gari that you are soaking now. The gari that we drink, in case you don't understand me, that's soaked gari. I don't know what's the better way to
It's a
say it.
dry
Yes.
form of cassava
Yeah,
that we use.
and then you
to
put
take
water
in
and
Africa.
drink it because of it has a crunchy feeling when you chew it though. Now, if you are soaking Gary, it's not the sugar you put in the Gary that is a problem. Yes, refined sugars, they say, but the Gary itself probably has more carbohydrates than those 2 cubes of sugar you're quarreling with.
Body converts
So
to
the idea now is have a healthy diet.
Exactly.
What we call balanced diet.
And
Just
moderate
have a healthy
too.
one. Yeah, and be moderate.
So there are different sources of this sugar from the
Yes.
carbohydrates and all. So
What about the
basically, it
brown
has to be.
eggs?
Yes, so there is another myth that I want to clarify. Some people feel the brown eggs are more nutritious than the white eggs. There is no basis for that. It's just the breed of the chicken.
Exactly.
The brown egg and white egg, they're the same. So there is no difference in their nutritional value.
You know the funny thing about the brown egg, white egg thing?
What?
When you finally cook the egg, what's the color inside?
Exactly.
Maybe it's just the aesthetic. Sometimes some people just
But
feel
people attach so much
importance
importance
to
to
it.
those.
So
And then
there's
the other
really
thing
no
is that
difference.
people say that all fats are bad, all right? So people just say anything fat
You shouldn't
is
take.
relative to obesity,
Hypertension, high
hypertension, high
cholesterol.
cholesterol, and all of that.
It's
Now,
the quantity.
fats is good, right? There's no food that is not good. You know, there's this saying that everything God created is
Yeah,
good.
it's
All right? So
Preach
fats,
it, Pastor.
yeah, hallelujah. So not all fats are bad, apparently, all right? But you just need to know that the fat itself aid even in absorption, all right, of food. So you need to understand that there is a good fat and there are bad
there's
fat.
bad
So
fat.
all you need to do is that whenever you're buying your margarine or you're buying your groundnut oil, you want to look at the content and look out for saturated fats and trans fat. Those are the bad ones. All right. So you're looking out for polyunsaturated fat, monounsaturated fat. Those are our benefit. For you look out for those things that contain low cholesterol. All right. That way, you would even give a better life. Help to aid absorption and all of that. Right. But you know that if you take the fats wrongly or you take the bad fat, then you're at risk
Excessively.
of having a heart disease. You're at risk of weight gain. You're at risk of everything.
Then you have another myth. Red meat is bad for your health.
Well, red meat is not bad for your health, but it's bad for your health if taken in excess. Everything we're talking about.
Yes.
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 If you take it in excess, it's bad. You can actually eat meat. Why not go for lean meat? That's
Right.
the one that doesn't have the fat in it, because we were talking about the trans fat and the rest of them that are found in animal fat anyway. That's basically the source of that particular trans fat. Take lean meat, because sometimes you have some people say, okay, this distinction between white meat and red meat is that, oh, white meat is better, but sometimes you forget that depending on the breed of the particular poultry that was used for that white meat, it could actually even contain more. Do you understand?
There's a mischievous
Cholesterol.
thought. There's a mischievous thought in my head.
That what?
I can imagine you go to the open market to buy meat.
Yes.
And then
I
you
have
finish-
lean meat.
Yes. Please give me lean meat. You finish pricing the thing, and they've told you it's so price. You now tell them it's time to remove the fat, then reweigh it and remove the custom.
I don't know which
No,
market to do that.
but the
for.
idea is get the meat, and if it's not lean, get it lean yourself at home. I
Exactly.
think that's what's important
Yes.
here.
And
Don't,
again, you want to
Serving.
avoid frying. Too much frying. But you can
Yes.
grill. You can grill. You can remove the skin from the chicken, whatever it is that you exactly things like that help to reduce.
What some people do
Yeah.
is they boil it and then they wait for it to cool down and then they sieve out the oil that comes on the top. That's another way to take out the oil
And
as
then,
well.
if you don't have these machines for grilling, baking, boiling, our good old roasted meat. Waiting happen. We don't find these things again.
That's how you know the people that
good-
go and take
yeah.
asu. So we have another myth there. Avoid seafoods to lower cholesterol. Is
That's
that
what
true?
people say, but it is not true. Like I keep on
Right.
saying, the thing is, when you learn to draw a thin line between what is normal and what's abnormal, in the sense of taking food in excess, then now you're talking. This is reality. Seafood will not necessarily increase your cholesterol.
Right. It's a good thing that we're talking about all the categories next.
Yes.
We'll be taking a short break. When we come back, Dr. Yvonne will be leading us on that segment, so don't go far.
Coming up next.
Food right now. Initially, when we discussed, talked about what the nutrition basically means, is the intake of food substance, as we all know, that which the body requires for growth, for metabolism, and for repair. There are 6 broad classes of. Hello, you're welcome back. This is We the Doctors. If you're just joining in, you haven't missed so much. We've been talking about nutrition. You don't want to miss this because we have a lot to still talk about. Talking about classes of food right now. Initially, when we discussed, talked about what the nutrition basically means is the intake of food substances, we all know, that which the body requires for growth, for metabolism, and for repair. There are 6 broad classes of food, but we are going to group them under 2 major classes, which are the macronutrients and the micronutrients. The macronutrients are so called because this is what the body needs for energy, for performing its daily functions.
And
so
you
the
can
body needs
see
this.
them.
Exactly. Talking about the carbohydrate, proteins, fats, and water. We'll talk about that later. Then for the micronutrients, the body needs it in little quantity for performing some things that you think are insignificant but significant to your health. And talk about things like minerals, talk about things like vitamins.
Things you can't see.
Exactly. But it's important to know that your diet affects the way you look, the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act. Because if the diet is wrong, then when I talk about health conditions that we see every day, like hypertension, diabetes,
are
the
what
rest
you
of them,
eat.
Basically,
at the end of the day, honestly.
Your body is what you eat and exercise, but you are what you have in your head.
I don't know what you're talking about. But let's talk about carbohydrate. Like I said, this provides us with the basic energy that we need to carry on our daily functions. We are sitting down here as in talking because we eat, we have some form of carbohydrate in our diet to give you energy for your brain, for your bodily functions, and the rest of them. Most people live on strictly carbohydrates, which is not good. Talk about things like rice, yam, gari, and the rest of them. Although
let me give you what the basic meal here is like in a day plan. In the morning, they manage to take bread because everybody's on the way. And then they just mix this colored water we call tea and drink it. And they run away. So you can imagine what our diet is like. In the morning, we just wake. Yes, hour generally. Now, when I say,
who is he talking about?
You are dissociating yourself
you
already.
understand what I mean.
No,
when I say
don't
hour,
understand.
You say the general diet in our
yeah, the
environment.
general diet in our environment.
Okay, there you
is
go.
Bread in the morning, and then they put this colored water that we like to call tea.
Right.
Just put milk
That
and
okay
a
likes to
little,
call tea.
yeah, a little of the what's it called, cocoa tin.
Yeah.
Just mix it, and we call it tea. So it's bread. In the afternoon, we settle down to the good old swallow.
That's as big as your head,
round thing.
Another carbohydrate.
And then the other things that should help out, the soup and the stuff, they're in tiny portions. In fact, we pride ourselves in making the meat small.
What are you talking
won't
about?
even
It's not
see
even
meat.
soup. Sometimes it's stew.
Yeah.
Is what?
Yeah,
Stew.
they even serve stew. Yeah, with the.
Swallow and stew.
Yeah,
Orishi.
I have seen. They serve it.
Okay.
Then after they've eaten that one, they've gotten themselves.
Maybe they'll now
they'll say
balance
they
it with yam.
They balance
Rice.
it with yam or rice.
All right.
With oil, or maybe no vegetables, nothing, no beans.
So,
Yeah,
It is
but
hard. It is
you
so
don't
hard.
blame people for some of those things.
Staple.
Sometimes
It's
people
affordable.
can't afford it,
Exactly.
to be told. And then common things are common, really, in our environment. Even those that can afford it, whenever you go out to eat, you're most times comfortable eating just rice.
Exactly.
But you
True.
know,
Right, outside.
True, but
some people don't want to do
I agree
vegetables
with
and
you.
all of that because they don't want a running stomach or
I agree
they're not
with
even
you.
sure of the sauce.
But Dr. Valeria,
if you go to most
Dr.
eateries,
Valeria,
that's what
I
people
agree
will get
with
to
you.
eat.
But
But you-
why do you have to eat that amount? I'm
Exactly.
particular
You're
about
talking
that.
about the quality.
Exactly.
We
That's
are not saying.
It's
But you know,
enough.
sometimes people eat like as if
There's no
they are
tomorrow.
not going to eat another one tomorrow.
he's looking at
Alright.
me.
What did he just say?
I
Yeah,
said
he
I
likes
enjoy
rice
eating
with
rice
soya
with soya
beans.
powder.
Soya powder.
So what's the other class?
We also have fat, basically.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, you guys are now jumping me. Anyway,
We talked about it earlier that too much of everything
and
is
sweet.
bad. So fat is also very good. We talked about the importance in absorption.
Yes.
All right, of food and all that. And then fat is also very good. You can get them from oil. You can get them from meat as well. You can get them from turkey.
Yes,
You
yes.
can get them from your margarine. And basically, what other classes do we
then
have?
for me, the best of them are your vitamins and minerals.
Okay.
They are the unseen.
Yeah,
You understand
so
what I
unseen
mean?
heroes.
You get to a dietitian, he sits down, he's telling you, okay, I'm calculating A, B, C. He's just talking about vitamins.
True.
And then the minerals, when we start telling you, you're taking iron. You don't mean the one that you can carry on the
Calcium,
street or the one you
zinc.
used to press the cloth or iron out the cloth. No.
Exactly.
Iron, you have calcium, all sorts of things, expensive.
I once had a
minerals.
patient, for
Selenium.
example, who wasn't taking carbohydrates. She was quite obese and said she wanted to slim down completely and was strictly on protein diet and fat diet. So she was like, you know what, I'm not going to take any carbohydrate because this thing was going to blow me up, all right? I'm just going to be taking only protein. And then she had to take a little fat because, fat is also an alternative source of energy, and then also we help with insulin and all of that. She was able to achieve it pretty much, but at the point in time, she almost passed out and then realized that she didn't even have
Honestly.
energy
True.
again and all of that, and then needed to start eating a little bit of it. So sometimes, Don't take things to the extreme. We're not
That's
saying
why we talked about that carbohydrate
Low
initially.
quantity.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I think to highlight, one way to help your friend is to increase the number of fruits your friends will take.
Yes.
Now, the
Exactly.
idea there is this. You have my minerals and my vitamins in the fruits. Then you also have sugars in these fruits. So
Right.
they could actually help out with the carbohydrates
Carbohydrates, yes.
necessary
And the
for-
vegetables.
Yes, and the fruits and vegetables.
Yes.
The greener, the
Very
better. The
honestly.
closer to raw,
In fact,
the
a
better.
variety of colors.
So
Just pick
I
them
should-
like that.
Talking about
All
the green and
colors.
better now, when I see green mango, that's the one I should buy. I should not buy the
No,
yellow one.
no. The fruit is
Why
in
does
ripe
you
fruit. Why
always
will you eat
throw-
on ripe fruit? You
Why
have to
does
eat
you
ripe
always
fruit.
throw- why do you always-
Different
There's
colors.
a level of
green,
common sense required for this.
There's green, there's yellow, there's purple, there's all sorts of colors.
And by the
Eat
way, you
all
can
of them.
go online now,
Yeah.
YouTube, type with the doctor, search for our episode on fruits and watch it. You really
Oh
enjoy
my
it.
goodness,
Yeah,
you love
that's a
it.
great
Then
one.
lastly, we want to talk about water. What can we do without water? That's why I classify it
Nothing.
under the macronutrients because it's actually needed for each kilocalorie expended. That's talking about energy now.
True.
And you need at least 3 liters of water.
That is how many
every
percentage
day.
of your body is made up of water.
Oh, 70% of your body.
Yes, so water is
However,
very, you can
it's
never
very
go wrong
essential.
with
No,
water.
but you know the let me not confuse people, so let me leave it. But the common sense here still remains. The common sense here still remains. If you already tell them that 70% of the body is made up of water, why do they
Why
want
am I
to drink
taking
water?
excess
Why don't?
Because to replenish, if you don't replace, it will
Exactly.
deplete.
You are
Yeah, that's
sweating, you are
true. Yeah, that's
urinating,
true.
you need to replace
Yeah.
it as you.
Yeah.
All right, so what did you tell them at the streets?
What is a balanced diet? If I
Alright,
ask you,
that's-
that's what we just talked
I
about
think
now.
people learned that from primary school.
However,
Hopefully
you
they
know,
remember.
exactly, having these 6 classes of food in the right proportion. Is that not how we were taught?
Right.
You are
Exactly.
giving them the answer. Let's take a
Okay,
look and
let's-
see what they
All
say.
right, so we'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
Well, balanced diet is like a complete nutrition that contains all the food, like all the nutrients you need to grow. Carbohydrates, protein, fat and oil, and the likes of them.
Yeah, to my own perspective, I could say it's the classes of food you take in the sense that it brings fluidity to the body and it makes the body grow all around. It's not just about taking protein or carbohydrates. It's all about the classes of food which are complete inside the body, so that the body is able to function well.
Yeah, it's just about eating good foods, eating nutritious food, eating what your body can take, what you can be more convenient to eat. Now, when you talk about balanced diet, it's not all about eating rice or eating beans or things like that.
Balanced diet, when person is balanced diet, maybe have a type of this, maybe diabetes. The balanced diet, you eat beans in the morning, afternoon, you take a light food or other tea, or in the evening, you change another of diet, maybe tea and bread.
Balanced diet is the food of, let's see, balanced diet is the food of energy. Something that really becomes an energy.
Balanced diet. Balanced diet is all about eating good food, eating the right supplements, the right food with the right vitamins, right minerals.
Balanced diet. What I think is that you less your thinking. When you less thinking and you eat at the proper time, so you get your balance. You get your diet. Your diet to be balanced.
I don't know what balanced diet is because I don't take balanced diet.
Balanced diet is any food that you eat and digest very well.
Balanced diet is you eat the food that will balance your health, a very nice food, something like vegetable, something does not have fat, things that do not have fat.
Balanced diet. I think, you can ask a secondary school person like that. So, I think that's what I know.
Balanced diet is like, it's what to eat. It's like the kind of food. Maybe after eating food, you take fruit to balance the diet.
Balanced diet is all about taking the required nutrient the body needed. And there are two essential, there are two types, essential and non-essential.
Okay, balanced diet is eating a meal with all the necessary components in a day.
as giving protein, carbohydrates, basically.
Balanced diet is by when you eat light food, then you use fruits to step it down, like pineapple, apple, pawpaw, and other fruits.
Balanced diet is the kind of food that we eat that contain all the classes of food.
Balanced diet is when you eating something like rice, beans will be there, plantain will be there, with some orishi meats. I call it balanced diet for my own understanding.
Balanced diet is about food we eat. We have a lot of balanced diet.
Balanced diet is this class of food that we do take every time.
Balanced diet. I think when you eat what you're supposed to eat, that's what they call. I think that's what they call balanced diet.
So, did you like what you just saw? I know you did. It's very simple. If you want to see more, just subscribe to our channel right now.